prominent theme that comes with, becoming a bit of an icon is that first they hate you, then they secretly envy you, and then they want to become you. Okay. So I'm going to break that down. I'm going to show how she navigated this just through my own lens as an outsider. And so we have in the beginning what I like to say is a bit of a description of what social climbing is, at least in my eyes. Social climbing is just the act of moving up between different social ranks or social classes, and it's almost like akin to playing the game of chess. I used to be really good at this game when I was younger. I haven't played it in a while. I used to play it with the computer. Yeah, I used to love it, but it's all about making strategic moves. I also used to play it with people as well. But yeah, it's all about making strategic, calculated moves so that you can get to your end goal, which is having the queen, I believe, move across the board. And then, yeah, like I said, I haven't played it in a while, but ultimately, this will start with having a vision for your life. So that's one thing. You can't just be aimless if you're trying to be a social climber. It just almost defeats the purpose. There's no strategy without an aim. And I feel like when it comes to pop culture, one of our biggest icons and blueprints on how you navigate the game is none other than herself, Miss Blair Waldorf. If you haven't watched Gossip Girl, pause the video, go to Netflix, okay? Go and watch every single season except season 6 of Gossip Girl. Then you can come back. Then you can watch this video and it will make sense to you. She's exactly what it means to have a vision in mind. She wanted to go to Yale. She stopped at nothing until she, well, this was her original goal at least. She wanted to go to Yale, and so she'd mingle and she would network and she'd make sure, she had the perfect grades and the perfect extracurricular activities. But even with the deviation, I mean, she still, I don't know if I want to give a spoiler or not. She even surpassed her goal, of like wanting to go to Yale. And I think that also goes to the fact that if you shoot for the moon, if you land on the stars, hey. But I feel like in her case, she shot for the stars and she landed on the moon because, long story short, she ended up with at one point she ended up with a prince. So she really played the game well, and that's not the end of her story, but it just goes to show how far she climbed up in ranks, just from being a normal girl from the Upper East Side to someone who was even eligible enough to meet and become engaged to a prince. And what I like about her is that she wasn't afraid to be ruthless and cunning if it served her purpose. Take this as you will, but I think one thing that stops people, I guess, from like moving up, so to speak, because if we bring it back to the original Hailey Bolden, she was already up, as we saw in the introduction. She already came from an elite family, an acting family, and she already lived in, those affluent areas. But it just goes to show that there's always room for growth in any aspect, whether it not be wealth necessarily. It could also just be social status. And if this is something that you're interested in, or you just want to like know what I think about how she did it, then yeah, keep watching. So we have our blueprint, and then we have to go back because her journey really does start from young. Okay, no one knows the exact age when she became friends with the Kardashian Jenner family, but I watched her interview, or like a little segment that she did with like a get ready with me in my bathroom with Kim Kardashian, and her and Kim were talking about how she remembers when like Hailey would come over when they were younger, like do makeup or whatever, and like have sleepovers whatever with um Kylie and Kendall, and now she's of course even friends with Kim and the rest of the family. But like I said, she already lived in those areas or adjacent areas, or whether she went to school with the Kardashian Jenner family, she found a way to make friends with other Nepo babies. And I believe this was probably genuine. I don't think that was calculated at that point. It was probably just people in her surrounding. But something that probably was calculated was her admiration for Justin Bieber. And we have a couple of, like blogs or TikToks, whether they're like scandal blogs or not, they brought up pictures of when she would like find herself. I'm trying to put this in the most nicest way possible. But she would find herself in the same locations as Justin Bieber, who wasn't her friend at the time. So it just goes to show that she had her eye on what she deemed to be the prize from young. And so that's a bit of, the beginning into like the psychology of Hailey Road Bieber from an outside perspective who absolutely does not know her. Um, but yeah, I just thought it was really interesting that this is someone that she liked from ages. And yeah, she spotted him. So I feel like what we can learn from here is that observation is the name of the game. You have to scope out your area, scope out, the people that you really feel like have potential. Um, I mean, his potential was different. Like, he was already a star. But even in choosing Justin Bieber, like she didn't know like he would have the longevity in his career. I mean, maybe I'm saying this as someone who isn't necessarily a believer, just someone who liked Justin Bieber's music casually. But either way, she managed to find her way into like the correct spaces with the correct people and affiliate herself. And so that's the first thing we can learn from her journey. She has a keen eye for observing what's going on in the atmosphere, and later on, when I talk about her business brand, I feel like this also translates. I'm a big believer of how you do one thing is how you do anything. It might not necessarily correlate directly, but transferable skills. So yeah, observing is key. So then, moving on, we have, if it wants to move, the moment when the internet turned on her. So this is circa what, 2020, 2021, either somewhere between 2020 to 2022, there were just a lot of blogs, like I said, bringing up the fact that at this point she's already married to Justin Bieber, but they were bringing up the fact that, wow, this woman stalked him. Like, not only did she might have stolen him from someone, whatever, like all of that, the love triangles and all of the horrid like news cycles that was going on about her relationship, they were just really dumping on her. And whether or not she fed into it or not, it was a lot of like internet hate and internet bullying. And I feel like something that almost happens to every icon is that they go through a turbulent period where the public turns on them. And it could be, like I said, for righteous reasons or just fabricated reasons or over exaggerated reasons. But there is always this like shifting of the tides. And this is a moment where we kind of see, I guess, I don't know if she, it's an interesting time because she's already launched her brand. No, wait, let me double check. No, she launched her brand in 2022, like I said. And this media storm is happening somewhere around 2020, 2022. But what she's done is around the pandemic, the start of the pandemic in 2020, she started going ham on her YouTube channel. And that was amazing because obviously, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get shadow banned for saying pandemic. I don't know. But during that time, obviously, everyone was in lockdown and everyone was bored, and she capitalized off of this. It's like, hey, I have a lucrative career that a lot of girls like admire. So she already has some following. So that's why I say she had some influence, but not that much. I don't know if it was that much of an influence. But then at the same time, now she's receiving a lot of hate. So whatever influence that she had was almost like shattered a bit. And I feel like the purpose behind this is for the public to see, what are you really made of? Are you going to succumb to our whims? Are you going to, I don't know, are you going to hide after this? It might not be like on the conscious forefront of people's mind when they're like making these videos, but people are always kind of looking for a reaction to put it the best way possible. So if you're navigating the public space and the public sphere, you're always kind of under scrutiny from the public. And I feel like she navigated this gracefully and really well. She continued doing her videos on her YouTube, and whether or not she was going through it privately, publicly at least, she faced it with a strong head, a strong front, and she had a calm and positive demeanor. And at least on YouTube, that's always kind of like a safe space for creators. The comments there were always positive, and so maybe that also kept her going. But either way, in this moment, we saw her come against some challenges and she rose to it. And so now there's a switch of the tide. Because to me, at least, like this was like all sequential. Now everybody wants to like be like you. Like it's a weird one because yeah, like I said, all of a sudden I'm seeing Hailey Road inspired looks everywhere. And so now this is at the point I believe she's launched her brand, Road Beauty or Road Skincare. And she's really smart. Again, we're in the pandemic and what is everyone doing? Everyone is eating. Everybody is eating. So this comes with her observation, her key skill of observation. It's like, okay, like what's everyone doing? Well, I've launched a skincare makeup brand. I'm gonna do like food related looks. And so there's differing opinion as to why she went for this. I did read an article, I believe, I don't want to cite the wrong source. I believe it was Elle, but if it wasn't Elle, it was either Vogue or one of those kind of publications. And they said that it was either due to the rise in like just consumption of food, or it was also due to the rise of this whole notion of eat the rich. Either way, she hit the nail on the head when she went for the whole like foodism in her marketing campaigns, and so everybody gravitated towards it, and it was an easy way to partake in the trend, like donut makeup, glazed donut, strawberry this or whatever. So yeah, everyone just started copying her looks. So that's why I say at this point they envied her. It's not necessarily envy; it's more so admiration. But it just goes to show that when people see your mental fortitude or your emotional fortitude, then you become someone worthy of being admired. And I think that's something that a lot of Nepo babies even face more. Um, if you are watching this, Hailey, sorry to be calling you a Nepo baby if you find it offensive, but it just is what it is. Yeah, I think a lot of Nepo babies, they have to go through what their crucible is making a name for themselves and I guess breaking away from the fact that you only got into this career landscape because of who your parents are. And so when she went through that trying time and when she launched her brand and everybody, was feeding off of all the marketing that she was doing, it really showed that, she's more than just a name. She's more than just someone who latches onto her family name, even though there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But she showed the public and the world that, like I said, she's got a brain and that she has the emotional intelligence to withstand the tough times. And I really think that's why everyone really latched onto her. And of course, being positive in such a hard time, such as the pandemic, is another reason why her influence soared, because I don't think her modeling alone was like enough to really make her an icon. And so now we come to the stage where everybody wants to become you. And how this plays out in the marketplace is that you launch a brand and people buy it, not necessarily because it's the best brand in the world, but as a celebrity, it's kind of a thing where your fans feel like, if I buy this, it's like I'm her, like I'm buying a piece of her, like I get to partake in it, like you, me, you, same difference, you know what I'm saying? So with Road Beauty, it was reported that in the final 2 months alone, this is not even a quarter, guys, like the final 2 months alone of 2024, the brand made about 90 million in revenue from its website. This isn't even including whether or not they have, distribution through other department stores, but just from its website, 19 million. So this was a big turning point. And obviously, when I made this presentation, this was even before I knew that it would then be acquired for roughly 1 billion by the Elf Beauty company, which just goes to show that she built up such a strong brand. Um, yes, like I said, at this point, when I made the presentation, I didn't even know, girl. I didn't even know. But yeah, she built up such a strong brand that people were ready and willing, whether it's a recession or not, to part with their money and be like, hey, I want a piece of the pie that you are building because I like you and also I like your products. And she kept the people engaged with exciting marketing campaigns. So she really did well. Very, very proud of her. And I feel like what we can learn here, obviously, she got the prize. Like, she got her man, she got her modeling career, she got the influence, and she got the sale of her business. Like, kudos to her. I did see another interesting rhetoric though is that now that this sale has happened for people that are looking for private equity, I wish I remembered her name. I think she does. Is it Black Tech or yeah? If I could find her name, I might put it in the comments. Like this particular piece I'm talking about, but yeah, just the fact that now that this sale has happened, whilst it's great, it also means that first of all, female founders already have a hard time getting private equity, so now they're going to be held to the same standard of the likes of Hailey Beiber, who was able to, amass this much revenue and profit within 3 years, and that's just unrealistic. So whilst we can celebrate one thing, we can also at the same time look at the repercussions of what this thing now creates for others. And like they rightly said, and like I've said in this video, the part of her success of the brand isn't that she's built like an innovative brand that's never been seen before. It's largely due to her following, and her following was born from the fact that one, she came from a rich family, and two, she was a model, and three, she married well. She married another celebrity, and four, yeah, internet personality. Like there were just so many different factors as to why her brand has succeeded. So it's just something to consider. I don't know how that's going to be navigated moving forward. And I don't know, like, who is in charge of regulating the private equity firms, but that is something that is really hard for a lot of female founders to go up against. And I mean, I don't know if they also get compared to male founders because the video that I watched was kind of saying like, they already like get benched amongst the likes of male celebrities. But yeah, if now other female celebrities are the benchmark, it just makes it impossible. So yeah, that is something that needs to change, and I really hope it does. So now a little bit of archetypal psychology, which I love to do. Outside looking in, I feel like Hailey Road Bieber is definitely giving heavy sage energy. So this is the very cerebral woman. This is the woman who's smart and calculated. So it goes in and ties in really well with the whole social climbing aspect. And like I said, observing. And there's one thing to be able to observe, but then there's another thing to actually be able to etch and web a roadmap to the vision you want. And so one key thing that I find really interesting, I remember when I watched the the masterclass on the Sage archetype, it was talking about how one like one key way you can like think about the sage archetype is how a spider knits its spider web, and it's very meticulous and it's intricate, but it's designed with a plan. And so another way you could actually develop your cerebral function is actually by doing stuff like knitting. So yeah, just something like interesting. If anyone wants to take that up, that is completely up to you. But also just when it comes to her marrying choices, it was a deliberate choice, like I said. um I don't know if it's a thing of like the means justify the ends. I do believe she loves him again, but at the same time she could have married anyone, but she chose someone who was a global icon. um Again, that's a very sage move, like to be like, you know what, I choose you, I'm going to narrow down on you because I see your position and I see your power. So just that natural inclination to want to align oneself with power is also a very sage thing to do. So when we think about the sage, another popular example who I feel like she kind of reminds me of in some ways is Jackie F. Kennedy. And again, it was just that willingness to align herself with a powerful man. um, what the relationship was like, not really 100% sure, but she chose that because within her, um, she knew like that was the kind of relationship that she wanted, and that's how I guess she wanted to be seen. And yeah, if she loved him, if she loved him, that's also part of the pie. But you know, it's just something to consider. Just they always say like be careful who you marry, because it could completely derail you, or it could, absolutely catapult you into infinite stardom if that's what you dream of. So yeah, I just feel like this was a really interesting, you know, bit of analysis on the phenomenon that is Hailey Road Bieber. I wish she would have dressed better at the Met Gala because, like I said, this was your year. Like, were you tired from the sale? Like, what was going on, girl? You're a model. Um, but yeah, if you are someone who, like I said, maybe doesn't necessarily know how to get to this grand vision that you have, then feel free to check the links down below to, ask of my services. I offer one-off sessions and I also offer package sessions for branding strategy. And guys, I love to think, I love it. It's something I love to do. So yeah, just feel free to check down the links below. It's something that really excites me, and I love to get to speak to different people. So yeah, in conclusion, I feel like we should always remember to observe your surroundings, observe the key skills of people around you, whether or not you want to play the whole social climbing game or not. It just like more time your success lies in your community and in your network. So if you're able to observe the key skills people around you have, then you can say, oh hey, like when it comes to certain projects, maybe we can align on this. I think always be authentic and genuine when you approach people. Like don't do the thing where you try to become friends with people. Well, you know what? Do what you like. But yeah, just if you're gonna take advice from me, at least be genuine when you approach people and let them know, hey, like I want to work on a project. Like I said, don't try and approach people and pretend it's about friendship, but ultimately you only have ulterior motives, because I do believe in karma, and I think what you reap is what you sow. It will come back to bite you at the end of the day. But yeah, if you have enjoyed this video, let me know. Thank you to the subscriber who asked for me to do this video. That's how I was actually able to have it ready in time for the announcement of Hailey Bieber's $1 billion sale. And yeah, if you have any more suggestions, let me know. Or I also will be doing the video on It Girlism soon. I don't know. I don't know. I can't say when, but yeah, soon. Just a lot in the pipeline. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.